Hello everybody, today we're starting a new franchise, and that is Leprechaun. So Leprechaun, written and directed by Mark Jones, it came out in 1993 and it was the first film that Jennifer Aniston ever did. Or at least one of them. I'm pretty sure it was her first one. And it's funny seeing her in this movie, thinking that just a few years later, she was Rachel in Friends. This is a franchise that went on to make 7 sequels, a remake, and now recently a direct sequel. And Warwick Davis, the guy who plays the Leprechaun, would return for all those sequels except the remake and the direct sequel. Because the main killer in this franchise is a witty, rhyming, 3 feet tall leprechaun, it's hands down the biggest, cheesiest B-horror movie franchise of them all. So let's get started with the first one in this week's Horror Franchise Wednesday. Leprechaun. Now, it's been a few days since I've seen the movie. I'm reviewing this kind of late, but I have my notes, so yeah, it's still up in here. But I've been kind of putting this review, because I've been house hunting right now, so some stuff going on in my personal life. That's why I haven't been able to see, like, Greta or Fighting with My Family, things at the theater. I've been kind of too busy and no energy, just kind of looking at house to house. But I watched this movie, and let's go over the synopsis real quick before I dive into the pros and cons. And this is a spoiler review and a spoiler franchise review from here on out. All of them, spoiler. But Leprechaun just tells a very odd story. A guy buys an old decrepit house with his daughter Tori. They hire some help from 3 guys that paint. There's Alex and Ozzy, and then there's Tori's crush Nate. Ozzy's the dumb one, so it causes no shocks that he ends up the one releasing the Lep from the box. And no one believes him when he warns of what's come, because Ozzy, once again, is just incredibly dumb. But then Ozzy and Alex find the gold and they love it so much Ozzy swallows one in his stomach. Meanwhile, the dad gets attacked from what he thinks is a cat and goes to the hospital to never come back. While they're all gone, the leprechaun searches for clues on where his gold might be, but then polishes their shoes. They all drive back to the farm and all goes to hell, until Tori gives back the gold that was dropped in the well. The Lep leaves them alone, allowing them to get patched, but soon discovers there's a missing gold coin not in his batch. So he attacks them some more, and things get a bit crazy. And then they send Tori to go visit O'Grady, hoping to find a way for the madness to be over, and he tells her before he dies to find a 4-leaf clover. It's the only weakness that the leprechaun has. She heads back once again to the farm, searches, and at last, she finally finds a 4-leaf clover in a small patch of green grass. The leprechaun attacks Ozzy's stomach to dig the coin out, and that's when the boy Alex slings the clover into his mouth. He melts away in the well, and all is now peaceful, except then we hear the leprechaun hinting at a very unnecessary sequel. And that's the story right there. I spoiled the whole movie. Like I said, spoilers. Alright, so let's dive into the positives. What do I like about this movie? I like Warwick Davis. Perfect cast right there. I mean, he just has a blast with this role. You can tell he really just enjoyed doing it so much that he came back for like 6 more of these. And I can see why. These look like fun movies to make. But he just embodies the role perfectly. Like, just the way he talks, the voice he has for the leprechaun, the makeup on his face, the makeup on his teeth. I like the look. They just take that generic, leprechaun look and they just make it evil. He's still got the red hair, but it's not so red that it's like so off-putting. It's kind of like a dark orange, and then he's just got the wrinkles in his cheek. This movie's also kind of dark. Like, it's humorous, but it's also kind of dark. Like, at the beginning, the first half of the movie, it kind of like shoots the leprechaun like in the shadows. It kind of like hides his face for some reason a little bit. But then once he's revealed, he's in the middle of the movie. They don't hide his face no more. He's just out front. He becomes like the focus of the movie. But at the first 30 minutes, he's kind of like just in the background. He's in the box and he's in the shadows. But then he just gets revealed, and then he just becomes the main focus. And we see him on like tricycles, skateboards, wheelchairs, any little device, remote control cars, or like pogo sticks, anything just to put in something else humorous into the film. And there's like a lot of like fast forwarding shots to make it look like he's like riding this tricycle really fast, but he's not. There are some jokes and humor in this movie, situational humor, that's funny in some land, but in my negatives I will say that there's a lot of jokes that just do not land. It's not a hilarious movie. Not to me. I like that this movie has rules. I like when like a killer has like a lore, a backstory, and like rules. This is what you gotta do. In this movie, and I've heard this is gonna be an interesting franchise for me to review because I haven't seen anything past this. I might have seen clips here and there of something else, but I've never seen these films, just the first one before, and I rewatched it this time probably like the 3rd time in my life. But I've heard that all these movies, they fuck with the continuity, they fuck with the rules, they change everything. It's like none of them go with each other. It's like all of them are like Leprechaun 1, 1, 1, 1. Like they're just their own franchise starting again. They just ignore each other, and I hate that. I haven't seen the other ones yet, but that's what I heard. But I like, so far in this one, we got the established rules and lore for this installment, which is the only way to kill the Leprechaun is to get a 4-leaf clover. And his weakness is shoes. If you throw shoes, it's one of my favorite scenes. They throw a bunch of shoes and he's polishing them. Some good comedic moments right there. I like that. That was funny. They also established that without his gold, he's weak. I found it kind of odd that he doesn't know where his gold's at. Like, he has all these powers, but he doesn't have that power to know where his gold's at. But yet he can do all this other shit. Like, he has telekinesis. He can do, like, voices, like, imitate people's voices, whether they're dead or alive. Doesn't matter. He can just imitate them. He can teleport, like Jason, and Jason Takes Manhattan. But the more gold he gets more powerful, supposedly. I know I'm kind of jumping all over the place, but I want to quickly say it while I can still remember it, that is a negative right there. I didn't notice his powers get much stronger after he got his gold, because there's a point in this movie where he goes from having 0 gold, but just a little bit of power, to 99 coins out of 100, and just not even that much power. Like, he doesn't do anything to be like, to see how much more powerful I am with all this gold now, except for my one missing coin. It's just like, you still got the same amount of power. He's still teleporting, he's still doing all kinds of super little shit. There's even a moment, this is a pro again, there's like a little Nightmare on Elm Street kind of reference in here, like a little rip-off moment where Jennifer Aniston's on the phone, and the Leprechaun sticks his weird little hand, it's not his hand, but it's like a weird hand going through the phone instead of a tongue. I like that the opening song is a song about a 4-leaf clover. It just adds to the cheesiness. Like, it makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense. So why not? I enjoyed seeing Jennifer Aniston in this film. She plays like this typical LA spoiled rich girl who just wants to go back to the city when she arrives to the house that her dad bought to fix up, even though there's no fixing that fucking place up. And I like that this place does look like it's been abandoned for 10 years, because this movie opens up with this old couple. The Leprechaun attacks them, but then the Leprechaun ends up getting trapped in a box, and the house is just abandoned for 10 years. It actually looks like it's just been sitting there rotting for 10 years. There's spiderwebs everywhere, so kudos on the decoration design, the set design of this place, inside and out. One thing I noticed is that everybody in this movie is wearing, like, different bright colors. It's a very bright, colorful movie. They're even painting the house a very, very dark, bright-ish blue with, like, red shutters on the windows. It's like, is this like a Dr. Seuss house? Like, what the fuck's going on? In the acting in this movie, you would expect it to be terrible on all parts, but there's only a few performances that are bad. Jennifer Aniston, of course, she's good, but even the dad was okay. Like, they're good, and they're not like so fucking terrible that you're just like, oh my gosh, this is. This movie actually gets kind of creative with one death at least. Like, this movie is not like a blood fest, so just know that going in. This movie isn't like the Jason movies or anything like that. There's a neat little death with like a pogo stick, and then there's the cop who gets his neck broken. And this isn't a lot of movies, but I have to point it out here. In all these movies, I think I pointed out in Taken 2, people always get their neck broken when they barely move their neck. The Leprechaun like twists his head and he just kind of goes, oh, and like he's just dead. Like that. Did you hear that? In this Leprechaun movie, I would be dead from that. That was real, by the way. I didn't add any noise. That was real. This isn't necessary to point out, but if you've seen my channel enough, you know I like to do this. Just point stupid shit out. And I'm going to put this in my pauses. I don't know. I'll just stick it right here. There's a scene before the guy gets killed with the pogo stick. There's a doll on top of the safe, and it keeps going from a sitting position to a laying down position like 5 times. It just keeps cutting back from like this angle back to the safe, over here to the safe, and each time the doll on top is just like down, up, down, up. Did anybody else notice this? Did the Leprechaun do that? Is he fucking with the doll? It's not really established, so I just think there was just what the hell was going on in between cuts. And there's like a little funny moment. This is another good example of humor that landed. There was this off-brand of Lucky Charms that the Leprechaun was eating. I thought that was funny because he just looks at the box, kind of laughs at it like, whatever, I'm the real Leprechaun. But that's all my pauses. Alright, so let's get into my negatives. First up, I did not get a good Blu-ray release. I got the 7-disc DVD bullshit, and I'm not sure when I'm going to get the widescreen, but the first 2 films are on 1 disc, and they're full screen. like square in the middle of the television. So you got these two giant black bars on the left and right, and that was annoying. And it took me a while to get used to while watching this movie. It was annoying. You pay over $1,000 for a huge fucking TV, and I want to see that whole TV filled, not the middle. Even widescreen pisses me off. It's like, why am I paying all this money? You get like a 70-inch TV and you're really just watching 50 inches of it. It's bullshit. And I know I said there was some good humor in it, but I would say that most of the humor for me just does not land. Like, if you're gonna go the cheesy route, at least make it extremely funny, but instead it doesn't land most of the time. There was a couple of things that made me laugh, but other than that, I was just shaking my head the whole time. And a little thing I want to point out, the cop who pulls over the leprechaun, here's his car, and here's the leprechaun's car. When he gets attacked by the leprechaun, he just runs into the wilderness instead of going back to his car where the keys are in the ignition. Stupid character decisions. Then you got Nathan, who has a shotgun with unlimited ammo, and he's just wasting all the shells, even though you can't waste shells if it's unlimited, like I think it is, because he's clearly got no limitation in the amount of rounds he has. He has unlimited ammo, but he's just blasting the walls away, because you got this scene where, you know, the leprechauns, he's in the cabinets in the kitchen, and then he's skating by the little, you know, they got like a perpendicular hallway thing going on where he's going this way and they're just in this hallway. So he keeps going back and forth, and they do it like 7-8 times. It gets redundant very quickly, and Nathan's reaction time is so pathetic. The leprechaun will go by, and then like 2 seconds later, yeah, a little too late there, buddy. And then there's even a scene where the leprechaun might be in these bushes, and he just unleashes all the ammo into the bush. What a fucking idiot. I hate that in movies. It's stupid. I know you could argue like, but in that moment you'd be so delirious. Not really. It's a 3-foot tall leprechaun. I think I got the upper hand. Magic or not, I'm not going to waste all my ammo. I'm going to at least think a little bit. This movie has a couple of weird flip transitions where the screen just like flips and does it like twice. Why? Is that supposed to like add artistic value or like style to the film? It doesn't do shit. It just makes it look like I made the movie on Adobe Premiere. And I have to think that there was a day on set where like a different director stepped in, because all of a sudden when Jennifer Aniston goes to the nursing home, I guess, there's like all these Dutch angles and like tilt shots, and it's like that wasn't like a style throughout the other parts of the film. And then even after the nursing home scene, it's like once she leaves the nursing home, it goes back to normal style. Like, I think somebody else just stepped in that day, or they were just like, oh, let's just use a bunch of Dutch angles. And I'm not exaggerating. Like 6 or 7 times, there's like Dutch angles. Like, all right, she's getting out of the car. She's going into the place. She's walking down the hallway. And just the shot just keeps going like this Dutch angle. It's like, why? I like how when they go outside, there's 2 cars. There's the painter's car, and then there's the good Jeep that belongs to Jennifer Aniston. And they all decide to hop into the truck that they already established earlier is a piece of shit and won't start. Why? The third act of this movie, it kind of just gets redundant and boring quickly. Like, the leprechaun's attacking him, and he's just like attacking him in the same way. Just like, he just keeps popping his face here, popping his face there, teleports there, and it just drags on and on and on, and it just gets to a point where it's like, alright, this isn't fun anymore. You're still attacking them, just kill them already. The dad in this movie is gone the entire second half of the movie, maybe even earlier than that. He gets attacked by the leprechaun, who he thinks it's a cat. He goes to the hospital, and then he never serves another purpose in the film. So he could just be... His only purpose was buying the house to put Jennifer Aniston in that situation. And she only stood in that situation because she had a crush on Nathan, whatever. So yeah, I just felt it was weird. It's like they just got rid of that character, and we never saw him again. And then we get these great practical effects on the leprechaun as he's melting, but then they get ruined by these weird, unnecessary optical effects to establish that there's magic in him leaving. I don't know. There's like these green and purple like lights flashing and like just like escaping his body, and it's like, what is that representing? Is that the magic leaving his body? I don't know, but it was just unnecessary. Like, it was just cool to see him melt, and then all of a sudden there's like green and purple lasers coming out of him. It was like, oh, that's aging the film a little bit. Then they pour gasoline down the well to light the leprechaun on fire. They do so, and then all of a sudden it just huge explosion. I'm not sure what was at the bottom of that well, but it was explosive. It's not like they threw propane tanks down there. They just dumped a little bit of gasoline, threw a match, and then BAM! Was there a bunch of methane down there? I don't know. It's just like, does that happen? I've never lit wells on fire, so I wouldn't know, and I'm not going to Google it. And this is a horror movie ending, and it's you see it a lot where it's the cliche cops arrive when everything's said and done ending. It's so stupid. It's annoying. Because when it happens 1,000 times, it gets annoying. You know, everything's over, the sun's coming up or the sun's going down. All of a sudden, you see in the distance all these cop cars coming in, like, we're here to save the day. No, the day's already been saved by me, jackass. Thanks for all the help. And then I don't like that this movie hints at a sequel, which we did get, but not technically, because the sequel has nothing to do with this film. No connective tissue at all. I like a movie to just be said and done, alright? The killer, the leprechaun, is dead. So why, you know, hint at another movie that quickly? Did they already know they were going to make another one? That this was just going to be this huge fucking success? This low-budget horror movie? Get the fuck out of here. And if you are going to make a sequel, why would you completely ignore this one? It makes no sense. You establish this rule that this four-leaf clover will kill him, but then once they kill him, he's not dead, he's just talking. We see a shot of the well, and then we hear his voice saying, like, I'll come back once my powers come back, or once I gain my powers back somehow. I just hate a movie that doesn't have the balls to say, it's over for now. If we make enough money, we'll explain how we are able to make another one in the next movie. But instead, they just piss all over the rules they just established and say, no, never mind, the four-leaf clover does not kill him. Well, then why was he melting? How is he still talking? He got blown up, did he not? You know, it irritates me. You know, I mean, I should be used to it by now. I am. But I have to point it out each time because I want to have some continuity with my thoughts, all right? Unlike this franchise, which has no continuity, I have continuity. I'm going to keep saying it each time it pops up in these movies. I'm going to point it out. But yeah, those are my thoughts. So I'm not sure how I feel about this movie. I mean, I've heard that the rest of this franchise doesn't get much better. So I'm kind of scared for this franchise, but it's going to be fun because I haven't seen them. And I've heard that this one's probably the best. So yeah, if you are a fan of cheesy horror movies, you can go out and buy this. But if you're just a horror fan or you like cheese, I don't know, like this one's not that good. So for me personally, this was a fun, maybe one-time watch. So when it comes to Leprechaun, maybe just go out and rent it at Redbox. Alright, the Mr. Hat Award for the best kills is going to go to the pawn shop owner Joe, who gets killed by the pogo stick. It's the only creative death in the movie, and it's makes no sense either. Like, his face is all bloody, even though he never got stepped on the face with the pogo stick. But I still like it. And the worst kill is definitely going to Mrs. O'Grady, who just falls down the stairs, and I guess breaks her neck, or just dies from all her bones being broken because she's a brittle old hag? I don't know. And the Clapper Award for best scene is gonna go to the shoe throwing scene. They all walk outside and start throwing the shoes in the dirt for the leprechaun to start polishing because he has this OCD fetish with cleaning shoes and making sure they're all clean. It's the funniest scene in the movie to me, and that's why it gets the Clapper Award. And the hottest chick award is gonna go to the only chick in this movie besides Mrs. O'Grady, and that's Jennifer Aniston, aka Tori. She's a fox. I like her. And that's why she gets this hottest chick award. And those are my thoughts on Leprechaun. Those are my 2 new awards, by the way. I'm going to be using those in every horror franchise Wednesday from now on. What did you think of this movie? Is it a good B cheesy horror movie, or do the jokes just not land with you? Like they didn't land with me either. Are you with me? Do you think this movie's hilarious? Tell me I'm wrong. But just let me know your thoughts about this movie in the comments below. And as always, if you enjoy this video, you can hit this like button to support it, and you can support my channel by becoming a subscriber. And to do so, you can just click on my cartoon face in about 5 seconds to see more. And until next time, I'll see you soon.